Hello, welcome. Thursday morning, the 23rd of January, and we are still for the next week in the realm of Prajnaparamita, Mother of the Buddhas. And we are coming in with the Heart Sutra again today. Oh, and I had promised a new version. So, as much as I hate to say farewell to the Khan's version, let me pick up my Narayan translation. I think it's here, yeah. Okay. So this is a translation of the Heart Sutra done by J.A.A. Narayan. This is a private translation that we are allowed to use in the temple. And I love this translation. It is another favorite. Uttering the sound of the three states of existence, I enter a mystic union of oneness with the entire cosmos. In the three worlds, in the three times, my breath binds the sound, Om, purifying the body, speech, and mind. I take refuge and invoke the awakened mind of the goddess who knows all and hears all suffering. The blessed Bodhisattva Aryatara, from the deep practices of the heart's perfect wisdom, understanding that the five elements of consciousness were always empty, instructing her student Shariputra, she says, in this world of forms, Shariputra, all phenomena are empty. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Form is not separate from emptiness, and emptiness is not different from form. Always, emptiness is the same as phenomena. Potential or actual form and emptiness never separate. So it is for feelings, conceptions, perceptions, and consciousness. All phenomena, Shariputra, have the characteristics of emptiness. They neither die nor take their birth into existence. Neither are improper nor shining with purity. Neither are complete nor deficient in any way wanting. So, Shariputra, in that emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, conception, perception, nor consciousness. There is no seeing, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, nor thought. Neither are there solid forms, sound, fragrance, sensation, nor conceptual phenomena. No circle of sight, nor is there a sphere of consciousness. There is no knowledge nor ignorance. Neither does ignorance get vanquished nor knowledge voided. No long road into aging and death, and no liberation from it. No causes of suffering nor samsara, no stopping on the journey of joy and suffering. There is no clinging to thoughts nor grasping. There is no attainment of anything, as there's nothing to attain. With blissful practicing of the heart's perfect wisdom, obstructions of mind move clear, and the labyrinthine maze of thought impressions and delusions of duality are liberated. In this way, the blessed Bodhisattva Aryatara enters enlightened transcendence. In the three worlds, all on the Bodhisattva path may practice the heart's perfect wisdom, and in applying it every moment, find the nature of mind and enter enlightenment. So understand and see the mantra of the heart's perfect wisdom as the strongest of sorceries, as the most powerful saying of mystical and sacred speech. It is the mantra which smooths over all things, which disperses lies into its light of truth. This mantra liberates all and is said like this: Gate, gate, paragate, parasam gate, bodhisoha. Gone, gone, crossed over and gone, completely gone beyond to the far shore, awakened, and all is good. This ends the heart's perfect wisdom. To have a space of nothingness, to have a space where your nervous system can rest and you start to recognize that everything that you feel that seems so important in the moment is truly the firing of neurons, and that as important as it may be, it needn't stop you from being who you are. It needn't stop you from dissolving into the oneness light of all that is. That is one of the gifts that the Heart Sutra has given me, is relief and respite from my own nervous system. And also from the delusion that my ideas are right and correct for everyone, or even right and correct for me. Life is a process. So, this one is the one. Our card today is 28. Reframe each challenge into an opportunity. Wow, how perfect. Gain new perspectives by seeking opportunities that help you think outside the box. There is more than one right answer. Creativity is a matter of perspective. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Mistakes are only steps along the way to discover what works and doesn't work for you. Be in the place of most potential, and the right answer or creative moment comes. Be patient and be ready to move upon it. You have to know the rules to break the rules. Give yourself permission and break some rules. Explore things. Try using molly bolts to hang your Christmas tree upside down from the ceiling and decorate. That's funny. I've always wanted to do that, but we don't do a tree. The affirmations for today: I'm falling in love through inspiring creativity, and I adjust the focus of my lenses until I see the spark of possibility, the extraordinary. I am patient and I am ready. To dissolve what triggers our nervous systems into that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, to disarm it in ourselves, is to understand where we do have control and where we don't have control. We don't have control over what anyone else is going to say or do. Their path is their own. We do have control over how we respond to things and what we say and do. And we have to stand in our knowing. And we also have to allow for creative possibility. The creative possibility spark comes in when the neural net is triggered out of its habituated modalities and into something new. And that spark of light that comes up doesn't have to be something that we like bear down on and fear, even though it can feel heightened. And that's the thing over all these years that I've noticed, is that, you know, science aside, because scientific addiction is a very sort of complex thing. It's a web of interrelated things. But on a spiritual level, addiction is fundamentally all one addiction, which is the addiction to intensity. It is the addiction to being triggered. And unfortunately, because addictions, whether it's to alcohol or drugs or numbing out or whatever it is, often feature some form of like a dopamine or serotonin kind of reward, then what ends up happening is we start to feel like a reward for reacting to things. So our triggered response, our heightened intensity, we start to read it as a reward, even when it isn't, even when it's totally messing up our game, even when it's totally destabilizing our nervous system, even when it's putting us back into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, even when it's going in, putting us back into a habituated response that isn't good for us, that we should know better, that we've talked about it in therapy, that we've done ritual about it, that we've meditated, that we've prayed, and yet here we are again, and we find ourselves there. And then when that happens, everything is up and it's all there again. Everything is everything again. The nervous system hardwiring to intensity is the spiritual source of addiction, even as individual addictions are individual. But what we can ask ourselves is, where in my life am I addicted to intensity? whether that's intensity of a heightened feeling, whether that's intensity of something that scares us, whether that intensity is anger response, whether that intensity is shut down, whether that intensity is numb out, whatever the intensity is, whatever we, and you know how you know it is that you wake up in the middle of it and you're like, wait, what am I doing? Like, I wasn't going to do it like that anymore. And you wake up in the middle of it and you go, oh. And so when you calm your nervous system and you refuse to engage it, you refuse to engage the heightenedness. You say, no, heightenedness, I see you coming and going. I'm going to let that thundercloud just drift across the sky. I'm going to stay in my peace. I'm going to hold my ground. I'm going to hold my center. That is when a new branch can grow in your neural net. Because now, in that place of calm possibility, your mind is going to allow you to see things that you wouldn't see because you got into the tunnel vision of intensity as the result of a neural stimulus that actually has created for you a reaction pattern. So, how can we deepen into the wisdom of the Heart Sutra today? It's neither here nor there. It's neither this nor that. It's neither good nor bad. I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I'm not going to respond and I'm not going to react, but I'm also not going to lie passive. I'm not going to participate in the triggered behavior, but I'm also going to acknowledge the trigger and allow it to be present, but I'm going to not engage it. Like, it's not about banishing it, and it's also not about succumbing to it. It's about finding that middle ground, and it feels like you're standing. When I was a kid, I used to be able to stand in the middle of the seesaw and put one foot on either side and let it kind of go like this. I have to say, I at 50 don't think I could probably do that with my knees. But yet, there was something malleable in my body and my mind at that time. And now I maybe have hardened up in some way. And it's like, where do you find that? But at the same time, the Dharma gives us this. The Dharma says, find the middle way. Find the way where you're not in that reaction, where you're opening doors, where you're providing for possibilities, where you're saying, maybe. Or where you're like, I've gone down that road before and I already know what it does. And so I'm not doing it. I'm staying right here. Figure it out today for yourself, whatever your version of that is, whatever your version of it is. For me, I can think of a couple different ones where there's certain things that, like, my inner child, she just is like, oh, ouch. And if I don't pause there and say to her, it's okay. You are all right. You're allowed to have this feeling, and we don't have to do anything about it right now. Then time, space, perspective, it all works itself out. How can the Heart Sutra today give us that space and perspective? That's our short bit for today, if that's what you were here for. And now let's dive in. We're going to do 3 prostrations before the shrine of Kuan Yin. And oh my goodness, I hope everyone is staying warm. It is super cold over here today. feel like I'm wearing my shawl with a parka, but it's so cool. All right, so let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intentions, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. Today we are holding Aislyn's uncle who is going in for a big appointment, and anyone else who's going through a hard time. Let's recite the four immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering to Kuan Yin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Om Ahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Kuan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations of Namo Kuan Yin Pusa, awakening the nature of Kuan Yin within us, the nature that can give compassion to ourselves when we are in a triggered or intensified moment. Namo Kuan Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shi 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 Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi 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 Yin Pusa. I was so in it. It caught me by surprise. And our prayer for the money reciter of Kam by Gyaltse Tokme Zangpo. Lama dang chuksum like chatsalo, dakni changchukni por chike bar, gangdang gangdu kepa de dang der, tadu tuje champo chatsenching, gusum gewe chila chaparsho, jamdang ningje champo kunlang tuje champo duljar gerpanam, lame changchuk chola gope cheer tuje champo trinleje parsho. And we will say it in English. Homage to the Guru in 3 jewels. From now until I reach the essence of awakening, wherever I may be reborn in that place, may I always follow the great compassionate one and dedicate my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Inspired by loving kindness and supreme compassion, in order to lead all Mahakarunika's followers to supreme and unsurpassable awakening, may I carry out the great compassionate one's activity. Lama dankun sum lak chaksa lo dakni changchuk nimpor chike bar gang du kepa de dang der tadu tuje champo chatzinching kusum gewe chila chaparsho chamdang ningje champo kunlang ne tuje champo duljar girpa nam lame chakchuk chala go pecher tuje champo trinleje parsho. 108 recitations now of Om Mani Padme Hum, sending out our loving kindness to all those in need of it today. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungne and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. It feels a little anticlimactic when they accidentally ting together before they're supposed to. But I imagine that they're feeding the spirits all the same. So I don't know where I left off. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. And may we carry the essence of Kuan Yin in our hearts. Namo Guan Shi and Pusa. And we close with a bow to Kuan Yin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher, wishing you a really good day of freedom from reaction.